Welcome to Prep Central, New Mexico's premier high school sports show. This show is presented by Western New Mexico University. If you enjoy our podcast, please like and subscribe and consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal to help us continue to bring you more content like this. You can find this episode and all our podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal website, abqjournal.com, as well as on all your favorite platforms like YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. See the show notes for a discount on a digital subscription. We hope you'll consider that. Thank you for supporting the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico's leading local news source. Hey everyone, let's continue talking. We want to thank Adam Deal for joining me on my podcast today, which you can find on a separate link from what we're about to do here, as Adam and I broke down 6A, 5A football and 4A as well in terms of state seeding. First things first, I want to talk about our Stars of the Week nominees for Week 10. You can continue voting all the way through Saturday afternoon. We're going to do one more Stars of the Week this week for Week 11, and that'll be it. We won't be doing this for the playoffs. 5 candidates this week. A couple of them are on here multiple times this year, and they deserve to be. 2 from St. Pius, after St. Pius had that big 65-28 win over Valencia last week that clinched the District 2 4A title. Isaiah Carpenter, the sophomore quarterback, threw for 243 yards and 6 touchdowns in that game. He's one of our nominees this week. Herschel Alloway Jr., who is a sophomore running back. This kid has been just fantastic this year. Rushed for 254 yards on just 11 carries. TD runs of 39 yards, 58 yards, 65 yards in that win over Valencia. He's one of our nominees. Ethan Kahn, senior wide receiver from Artesia, 174 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns against Goddard. He is one of our nominees. Jacob Maldonado from Cleveland, a junior slot. He caught 102 yards worth of catches, 3 touchdowns against Volcano Vista in that big win for the Storm. His touchdown catches were 26 yards, 25 yards, 23 yards. He has become just a fantastic offensive weapon for Cleveland. And then our last guy who was on last week as well, Amiri Mumba, the senior running back from Highland, 211 rushing yards against Capital, 3 touchdowns as Highland wins that game. So again, you can vote at abqjournal.com if you wish all the way through Saturday afternoon. But we got a good group of guys. So yeah, please register your vote. We have a lot of fun with that. Prep football picks appear in the Thursday Morning Journal. Adam Deal and I both do picks. There are 26 games on the list this week. All the key games are on the list. I had a good week last week, 20-3. Adam finished 19-4. The Portales Academy game, I went with Portales. He went with Academy. That was kind of the tiebreaker. Portales won that game. So good week for me. Looks like I'm going to finish above 80%, barring a total disaster here in Week 11, which is always my goal for a regular season. If I can finish at 80% or better, I feel like I've done my job. Some of these games are very hard to pick. Think about the Roswell-Mayfield game that I talked with Adam about, where Roswell had a great chance to lose that game against Mayfield. Mayfield was up 7 in overtime. Roswell scores and goes for 2 and wins it by a point. So many games like that are on our list every week that are just coin flip games. So all the big games are on the list this week, including Cruces and Centennial, West Las Vegas, and Robertson and St. Michael's, right down the line. All the big games, Cleveland, Rio Rancho. So you can find all the big games on the list this week, and then you can find it in the Thursday Morning Journal. A couple of other bits of business I want to get to real quick. So state soccer, as I sit here today on Wednesday the 30th, state soccer began yesterday, Tuesday, with first-round games in 5A and 4A. No real major upsets to report in the first round. So now all the top seeds in all the brackets are in 4A and 5A are going to come in now on Friday and Saturday for the quarterfinals. We have a good number of games on Friday, good number of games on Saturday. So we'll have 4A and 5A quarterfinal action going on heavily on both days, and the Class 1A, 3A state bracket gets underway. They don't do a first round because they only have 8 teams. So their quarterfinal round will begin on Friday and Saturday, all at home sites. Then semifinals Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday for 1A through 3A, Wednesday for the 4A and 5A schools, all on home campuses. And then UNM will host all the championship games next Friday with 1A and 3A games. And then Saturday, 4 games to finish the season, the 4A and 5A championship games. Last thing I want to do before I get out of here is talk about Sydney Benally from Sandia, the Gatorade Player of the Year from last season. She led Sandia to the Class 5A state championship game. Just a tremendous player. She had 25 Division I offers on the table. She narrowed her list to 4, which was UNLV, Northwestern, Princeton, and suddenly the fourth one just went out of my head. Anyway, she narrowed her list to 4 and made her decision on Sunday. She's going to be going to Princeton in the Ivy League. Sydney, obviously, is a fantastic student. She averaged over 20 points for the Matadors last season. She's just as smart on the court as she is off. There were a couple of hundred people that got together at Bosque School as she made her decision. So all credit to Sydney. She's got that decision off her plate, and she was really the last one of the big 4 that we were waiting for to make their college announcement. Of course, Bella Hines, who's not in high school basketball anymore, she's at a prep school now here in Albuquerque. But when she was still at El Dorado, she committed to LSU. Then we had, just in recent weeks, Jalen Holland, formerly of Los Lunas. Now he's at a prep school in the Phoenix area. He committed to Colorado. And Kenyon Aguino from Volcano Vista, he was the Gatorade Boys Player of the Year, and he committed to Montana. So those were the big 4 from last season that we all knew were going to go to college. So now Sydney has made her choice. Prep basketball starts on November 11th, first day of practices on the 11th, and then we're going to have games, I think, starting even before Thanksgiving. So basketball's right on top of us. As far as the other sports, state volleyball's coming up in a couple of weeks. State cross country coming up on November 9th. That's the same day for all the state soccer finals. So anyway, a lot going on. Next week, we're going to talk about playoff matchups extensively. Once we get them, they'll be coming out Sunday morning in football. And we will talk extensively about first-round matchups across the board next week. So until then, thanks for watching. Again, you've been listening to Prep Central, the Albuquerque Journal's high school sports podcast. We thank Western New Mexico University for being the sponsor of this podcast. Much appreciated to them. And we're going to talk next week.